When I started here, we averaged between 400 and 450 people at Mass every weekend. COVID dropped us to around 250 once we came back to church. The current average is near 300. Each year, we have an average of 30 funerals or more. Each year, we have about a dozen baptisms and 5 weddings. But some of those are from people who don't live here, but just come back for historical reasons. To put it simply, we are shrinking. And I say this so that you understand why I often mention evangelization, why I spent the last 2 weeks stressing the importance of going to Mass every Sunday. And I know it can be discouraging when I tell you what you're doing wrong or what you should do better. And I'm sure hearing these numbers is discouraging, but here's some hope. Despite those numbers being down, our collections are actually higher than when we started. Participation at Mass with responses and singing is noticeably better, in my opinion. We have several Bible studies every week and seasonal small groups that we didn't used to have. We have annual retreats and parish missions that we didn't used to have. We spend thousands of dollars every year helping the elderly pay important bills, something we didn't used to do. And that's not everything. I'm not flattering you when I say that St. Paul's letter today could apply to you, that you became a model for all believers, that you really do serve the living and true God. Statistics can tell us how many people show up, but they can't tell us how deep their faith is. And the faith is deep here. I've come to know some of you very well personally, and had the pleasure of seeing your faith grow deeper and stronger. Sure, I fuss at you from the pulpit sometimes. I'm supposed to make you feel guilty now and then. That's part of calling you to ongoing conversion. But I also brag on you sometimes, telling friends about your perseverance and kindness and generosity, your patience with my faults and our sound system. It's not possible for everyone to hear the moments like that, or the moments in confession or private meetings where you'll see a gentler side. Sure, people have left this parish because of what I've said and done. I'll work on that. But some people are going to leave, no matter what I do. But this isn't about me. The point is that St. John's is alive, even if we don't have all the things that bigger, wealthier parishes have. So why am I giving you these dire statistics? Because I want to keep St. John's alive, not just surviving, but growing and maturing, and it is possible. For all the shrinking of Genneret's population, there are a lot of people in this city, of all ages, who do not have faith or have very little. And I don't say that as a failure, but as potential. The era of Catholic culture, even in Acadiana, is over. The method of sustaining the church simply by having babies and taking care of our own no longer works. St. John's, most churches really only have one option if they want to survive the next 3 generations: evangelization. Evangelization can't be an extra thing we do sometimes. It has to become a top priority. It is the meaning of being Catholic, to proclaim the gospel. It's in the name of our parish, John the Evangelist. And notice I said our and we. Evangelization is not my job, it's our job. St. Paul's letter reminds the Thessalonians, from you the word of the Lord has sounded forth. In every place your faith in God has gone forth. Paul's writing a letter. He's not evangelizing the Thessalonians anymore. They are, as a community. Evangelization isn't just the work of the professional apostle, but of every member of the Catholic Church, especially if you've been confirmed. Catholics in the United States are somewhat infamous for not evangelizing. We even tend to make fun of those who do. Be honest, how many of you have heard a joke or cracked a joke about Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses and Pentecostals who go door to door? I know I have. Now, there are good reasons to be skeptical of those groups and their methods. I'm not saying we should all knock on doors every day. That's just one potential tool. No, my point is that most of us don't evangelize at all, much less badly. Most of us don't really believe that it's necessary. Sure, we've been told about it once or twice, but it was never made a serious priority in our daily experience of the church. And another reason we don't try is most of us weren't taught how to evangelize, or we were taught poorly. People love to quote St. Francis as saying, "Preach the gospel always. When necessary, use words." St. Francis never said that. St. Francis spent his whole life using words to preach the gospel. He was annoying in how much he talked about the gospel. Yes, our example matters a lot, but Jesus is the Word of God. To preach is to use words. We should live the gospel above all, but that also includes speaking it. Jesus' answer with the greatest commandment is crucial here. To love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind is the first commandment, and that is living the gospel. Despite only being asked for one commandment, however, Jesus immediately adds a second, because the truth is that you can't keep the first unless you keep the second. You shall love your neighbor as yourself is part of that commandment, not an add-on. And think about how you love yourself, how you love your own soul and your own salvation. You pray, you read scripture, study the faith, go to confession, come to Mass. How often, because you love your soul, do you put yourself in a position to hear the gospel? And if you love others as you love yourself, what are you doing to help them hear the gospel like you do? As with loving yourself, this takes time and discernment. The answer isn't to stand on the corner shouting about Jesus. Start with the relationships you already have. Pick 2 or 3 people in your life who aren't living the gospel, but you know you can have a conversation with. Begin by praying for their conversion before you say anything. Pray every day. And then once or twice a month, make an effort to talk to them. Coffee, lunch, a phone call. And in that conversation, ask questions about what matters to them, what they really believe. Really listen to them as a person, not a project. And then, using your words, invite them to the next step. Don't jump right away to the end, just the next step. If they're invested in beauty or service of others, point them to the ways that the church does those things. If they're suffering and struggling, share with them some aspect of the beauty of redemptive suffering and our teaching on the topic. Whatever motivates them, try to connect them to some part of Catholic life that connects to that, in whatever little increments you think they're ready for. But be deliberate about drawing them a little bit closer. This will require effort and discomfort. You'll need to pray a lot. Keep reaching out. Probably teach yourself things about the gospel. You'll have to be patient, but persistent. You'll need to focus on loving them as a person and not treating them as a project. But if you deliberately invest in, genuinely love 1, 2, or 3 people this way over a period to 2 or 3 years, 1 or more of them will probably have a conversion. And they become part of your Catholic circle. And you can look for someone else to put on that list of to be loved and evangelized. See if you can think of a name or 2 right now whom you can love in this way. I'll put some resources. There are lots of different books and articles and things. I'll put them in the bulletin next week, and they'll be linked to this homily online. If just half of our 300 people try, and only half of them succeed, and they only succeed every other year, that's like 35 potential converts in a year. Even a fraction of that could make a huge difference over the course of 5 or 10 years. Because the new members bring in more people, and those who are doing the evangelizing become stronger disciples themselves. To love God and our neighbor. If you remember, that was the mission statement that I offered at my very first homily here as pastor. We've been doing that. We are doing it now. I know you love God. I know that you love your neighbors. But we can't stop there, can we? Love is never static. I just want you to love them more and have more of them to love. And with God's grace, I know you can do that too.